Well, this ain't good. This ain't good. One fatality, 44 people overboard in a maritime accident just about an hour south of here. CDC is saying that there may be a new dominant variant, and Royal Caribbean's doing something different, and I'm not sure whether people are going to love it or hate it. I guess the big question I have is why? Why? Yeah, all that and more on today's episode. Let's go. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host Tony, here to talk you through everything going on in cruising. It's your Tuesday cruise show. It's for your face, and first story is sad. It's sad. This happened Sunday night at the Causeway Bridge near Clearwater. So the Tampa area, Tampa Bay is considered three major cities: Tampa, Clearwater, St. Petersburg, and they share all of these waterways. So you got big Tampa Bay, but yeah, in between the strip of land between the mainland in Florida and where Clearwater, the peninsula that Clearwater's on, or isthmus, it's a causeway. And the Causeway Bridge was the scene of a maritime accident on Sunday night. If you've ever been to Clearwater, you know that strip of land, the driving can be pretty backed up. It's a very popular place, and there's a great service there, the Clearwater Ferry, which actually ferries people from downtown Clearwater to the Clearwater Marina. And Sunday night, as that Clearwater Ferry was making its way to one of those port stops, it was struck by a private vessel and struck in a way that it completely crushed the Clearwater Ferry and disabled that vehicle. Now, sadly, in that collision, there was one fatality. A 41-year-old Palm Harbor citizen has been identified. 10 people had to go to the hospital. Everybody had to go overboard on that cruise ship, 44 passengers. Interesting things going on as that event unfolded. The private vessel that hit the ferry did not stay at the scene of the accident. That boat captain took that private vessel back to a boat dock. He has been identified and no charges have been filed against him, but he did leave. Another kind of famous vessel in that area is a pirate ship that does evening cruises. They came upon the accident returning from their evening cruise, and they were inclined to help the distressed vessel, but the vessel had shifted into shallow water, so they could not help. They went back to their pier, switched to smaller boats, and returned to the area of the accident and kind of helped with the rescue effort. Fortunately, everybody has been accounted for. There's nobody missing, and the majority of the people, got through the accident without major injury. But unfortunately, one tragic fatality there in the Tampa Bay area. It's an interesting story. Again, I'm sure maybe at some point we'll know why the captain that hit the vessel left. But it is really cool to see kind of like the code of the sea come into play. We see it all the time with cruise ships rescuing vessels in distress or people on rafts, that kind of thing. It was pretty cool to hear some of the accounts from the people on the pirate ship saying our inclination was to help these people in distress, and we did everything that we could to help them. So I don't know if there is a silver lining, but just a sad tragedy and just a reminder that, even when things seem fairly safe and normal, sometimes they're not. And just to be careful. And, obviously there's nothing the people that got hit by the boat could have done. So, it's scary stuff, really. Scary stuff. The next couple stories might make you sick to your stomach. We're going to talk about gastrointestinal illness. We have a new report out from the CDC that another ship has had enough gastrointestinal illness on board to make a report to them. This time we're talking about the Viking Polaris that was hit by a norovirus outbreak earlier this month, April the 11th through April the 23rd. 37 out of 355 passengers reported feeling ill. 6 of the 620 crew members were also impacted. Forget the sickness for a second. Look at that number. 355 passengers and 620 crew members. If you're curious as to why Viking is an expensive and luxury cruising experience, that's part of the calculus there. That's part of the reason. So far in 2025, that makes 7 ships that have reached the threshold of reporting to the CDC regarding norovirus. And you may be saying to yourself, That seems like a lot of cruise ships with the norovirus. Well, this report comes on the heels of another report from the CDC saying that there may be a new dominant variant of the norovirus out there. They're seeing an increased amount of norovirus on land, and they're also seeing an increased amount of norovirus on the water, on cruise ships. It's a simple thing when it comes to norovirus. Hygiene and sanitation are the primary things. And anytime that you run the risk of touching communal things, particularly around food, you should be washing your hands. So if you're going to go eat, wash your hands. If you're going to go and use utensils to serve yourself at the buffet, after you've touched those things that other people have touched, wash your hands. If you go to the restroom where multiple people have been in there touching things, wash your hands. And I guess it's worth saying, but I assume everybody knows when you wash your hands, you should wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. And while the use of hand sanitizer is a good thing, hand sanitizer doesn't always fight things like norovirus. So I wouldn't rely on the hand sanitizer. Wash them hands, good old soap and water for 20 seconds. That's going to give you at least a better chance at fighting it off. And I do want to get into this thing that Royal Caribbean is doing. It's a change I didn't really expect to see happen. And I'm not sure if people are going to love it or not love it. And I'm really curious as to why. I'm going to speculate as to why. But before I get into that, I got to take a break. Take a dance break. Get up. Get up.
Girl, you got me down so bad. I can't say enough. She pull up with that new thing. Please don't fall in love, 'cause I think of you all day. Yeah, I was running through my brain, can't be nothing. 'Cause I just know you got me thinking about forever. Got a crush, crush, crush on you. I just wanna be your only crush, crush, crush on you. I'm not the type to give it in, read it out to your mind.
Dance break. Woo. Did you get up? Did you get up? Look, dance break on a Tuesday. And you know what else we do on Tuesday? Live show. It's going to be Tuesday Night Live tonight, 9 p.m. Cruise show for your face. Me and the lovely Jenny B will be here answering your questions, talking about everything going on in cruising. Love for you to jump in. We got so much to talk about. Join us tonight on the big show, 9 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. Okay, perusing the internet, I came across this article written by our friend Matt over at the Royal Caribbean blog. And here's the headline: Royal Caribbean quietly makes an internet change that cruisers will love. Now, what I've found since I've been cruising is that the internet is one of those things that people either love it or hate it. I don't find a lot of middle ground. Me personally, I'm a big fan of fast internet on cruise ships. I want to stay connected. I want to be able to upload videos. I want to be able to do social media. I want to be able to check back in with people at home. But for other people, they say there's no place for the internet on cruise ships. You should be completely disconnected. Your vacation shouldn't be connected to the outside world. You should just be focusing on yourself. And I think both of those opinions have a valid place. But what about the person that's in between? What about the person that loves to be disconnected, but they would like a little bit of internet, at some point? Most of the time, there's not an option for them. Cruise lines are good about selling packages that are for the whole cruise. And those are usually pretty expensive, up to $30 a day. Cruise lines are also good sometimes about selling a 24-hour pass. Maybe you want the internet for just a day, but again, that's still $25, $30. What if you only need a little tiny bit of internet? But that's what Matt is talking about. He said that there's cruisers that have been on recent Royal Caribbean cruise ships saying that you can get a 1-hour internet pass for $9.99 on Royal Caribbean. Now the catch is you do have to jump through some hoops to get it. You have to go to the internet desk and you have to talk to a person to get it. It's not just right there in the app like the other internet packages. But it does open up an interesting option to where you could just a la carte use the internet for 1 hour at a time. I don't know if you can only do that for 1 hour on your cruise, or say, say maybe over the course of 7 days, you want to use it 3 times. Can you spend $10 3 times and get an hour here and an hour there? That's an interesting play, because a lot of times when you're on a cruise, you're going to cruise ports that have Wi-Fi or that your phone is actually going to work in. So maybe you don't need it all the time while you're out at sea, and you only need it for an hour at a time. But why the heck would Royal Caribbean do this? Well, I've got to assume it's in response to customer feedback. That's why it's important to fill out that survey at the end of your cruise. I'm sure a lot of people out there are saying, man, I wish I could just use the internet for just an hour. I only needed to, change some flights or just check in at home real quick. It would be nice if I wasn't forced to buy 24 hours of internet, or I wasn't forced to buy 7 days worth of internet just to do that. So it could be in response to that. It could just be another smart way to try to increase revenue. Some whiz bang over there might have said, well, hey, here's an opportunity for us. It's interesting to see how this will work out, because there's also another big package on board that's kind of an all or nothing. I'm thinking about the drink package. A lot of times people complain that say, look, I have to buy the drink package for the full 7 days of my cruise. Wouldn't it be cool if I could get the drink package for just 1 day? I mean, like, that's just pie in the sky. I don't actually see that happening, but that would be interesting to see if it would happen. For me, I want stuff for free. I want some free internet, and that becomes the big question of the day. Make sure you jump down into the first comment. The big question for the day is, if you could wave a wand and make one thing free on a cruise ship, for me it would be internet. If you could make one thing free on a cruise ship, what would it be? And I'll leave some choices for you down below. Thank you so much for checking out today's episode. If you want to stay up to date with everything going on in cruising, make sure you watch this video next. YouTube knows you haven't seen it. Subscribe for more. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.